Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes and thank you for joining me for day number 8 of my 31 Days of Horror. Today decided to go with one of my Masters of Horror sets. If you're familiar with my channel, you guys would know that I love going back and rewatching some of the Masters of Horrors. Though it has been a little while, so excited to get into today's one, which is one from Season 1, directed by Stuart Gordon, titled Dreams in a Witch House. Stuart Gordon, he loves a H.P. Lovecraft adaptation, doesn't he? If you're unfamiliar, Dreams in a Witch House is based off a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, I believe of the same name. Stuart Gordon, obviously a well-known horror director, horror slash sci-fi, but to be completely honest, I actually haven't seen too much of his stuff. I've seen this, Dolls, the Reanimator trilogy, a handful of others, but not too much. I'd like to see more of his movies over time, but either way, let's quickly get into the plot for Dreams in a Witch House before we get any further. So basically, a college student is looking for a place to stay, rents a room in the witch house. It's sort of like this old, rundown, dirty house. Like, obviously he's getting the room for pretty cheap, but I wouldn't fucking spend a night there. But either way, he starts having these visions. There's a rat with a face. He starts seeing this witch, in different rooms and whatever. And yeah, it's sort of just a trip into insanity, this story. So let's get into my thoughts of Dreams in a Witch House, directed by Stuart Gordon. So on a surface level, and if I was just reading it on paper, this isn't one that I'd typically be drawn into, as in, like, it's very cosmic, trippy, sci-fi. It's got a bit of time jumping witch stuff. It's got a rat with a face. I think I said that in the intro as well. All rats have a face. What I was meant to say is that it's a rat with a human face and can speak. So it's a big difference there, but it is just very quirky and cosmic and weird, and typically, as I said, it's not something that would normally draw me in, but I've always really liked this film. It's always one that, when I think back on the Masters of Horror, it's one that I think back on pretty fondly. Where to start? I really love, like, the tenants and the living arrangements and the vibe of this witch house. One person's business sort of becomes everyone's business because of the close proximity, and it's such a small place. As I said, normally the quirkiness and weird cosmic stuff would draw me away, but I've always liked it in this one. It does come across as more trippy sci-fi than horror in this one. But it does know when to go dark. The ending of this film is actually really dark, and it has other dark moments. The part where our lead is, he thinks he's making out with this beautiful lady, and then it turns out to be a witch, and his back's all scratched up, and it's all gross and nasty. I really like that. So, even though it's like quirky and a little bit cosmic sci-fi that's not normally my thing, it's always worked for me. Still knows when to go dark in places, and yeah, always enjoyed this adaptation of the story. Now, if the story vaguely rings a bell for you, you might have seen the adaptation done in Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities that was on Netflix. And honestly, the adaptation done in that series was one of my least favorite episodes in that whole show. I just thought it was like a really boring adaptation. So if you also didn't like that version of it, don't be put off by this one, because I feel like this one is a much better adaptation of that story, and a lot more entertaining and enjoyable to watch. With that being said, if you know the Masters of Horrors, each short film or episode, or whatever you want to call it, is only like 50 minutes to an hour, so it's sort of a hard one to properly break down and review without giving too much away. So I'll sort of wrap it up here. 31 Days of Horror anyway, so there's still plenty more reviews to come, so it doesn't hurt to do a short one every now and then. I'm going to give Dreams in a Witch House by Stuart Gordon from, what year is this, 2005, a 6.5. Yeah, pretty enjoyable one. There's some moments that don't completely work for me, but overall, it's one that I think back on pretty fondly, so yeah, happy to give it a 6.5, and thank you for joining me for day number 8 of the 31 Days of Horror. Hopefully you guys are all still enjoying it so far, and I'll see you tomorrow for day number 9. Thanks, guys.